I'm very excited to be joined by Pat Keane in the run-up to the release of Albatross. You play all of the instruments, and the percussion is all acoustic, apart from one.
Apart from the clave. The clave was found with using musical typing.
Yeah.
In Logic, the program.
I first recognized it and thought, oh, that sounds a bit different.
Yeah.
In the song Wannabes, which is the second track on the record. Calling all wannabes clave.
Yeah.
You're a big part of me.
Yeah, it switches off between the cowbell and the clave there, and I sort of took that inspiration from the song Ram or Ram On by Paul McCartney, and originally just wanted it to be cowbell, but then I was like, oh, clave would be so cool.
Less cowbell.
Yeah, less cowbell, right? Yeah. It makes it a little playful. You know, I think there are playful parts of the record, I think, in general. And I like that because I'm a playful dude. People have told me that when they hear my songs, they feel like they know me better and feel like they see into like the actual, serious guy. Serious, good-natured guy or something that has issues, that's not just smiling or laughing all the time.
Okay, so as a person, you're very playful.
Yeah.
There is this playful component to this song, for example, in the cowbell.
Yeah.
But
it's sort of a portrayal of all the levels of like my personality, I guess. I think that it sort of explores all the levels of who I am. Like I can be, really nice and like have a lot of fun and laugh a lot, or I can also get like really like introspective and thinking about like all the deep things of life or issues that I have to go through or work through, or relationships or loneliness or all these things that come into play of
thinking about
making a full person, I guess. But
thinking about the albatrosses, because
the sense of guilt, it's a huge part of me.
There's like a dictionary definition of albatross. Albatross, and then 1, 2, 3.
That's that's an interesting thing the label did for me, because when I was talking about that with the guy who runs the label, his name's Jake Saunders, who Ramp Local Records. Yeah, he's a very kind soul, and we were talking about just what it means, like why I wanted to call it albatross, and he was like, "Is it like the bird or what?" And I was like, "No, it's more about like the second definition, which means a sense of guilt, basically."
And thirdly, something that greatly hinders accomplishment. And encumbrance.
That's really appropriate too, actually.
I was gonna say, were there
both those two at the end there?
Thinking of like the process of creating the record, so albatross as encumbrance. Were there any albatrosses along the way?
Like generally, I have a concern of being like wanting to be productive all the time. Or like
definitely.
Or like stressing out about it and being like, oh, I don't practice enough. Or like, oh, like
have I used this day as best I can?
Yeah, exactly. And I sometimes get bummed out about that and whatever. But yeah, I think in that sense there are many hindrances that I eventually wrote about.
Yeah. In the song Albatross, does that have more to do with the causes of concern or anxiety, or does that have more to do with these encumbrances? So obviously there's some overlap between these two.
There is. I don't know. I think
or is it about seabirds?
That's the title track. I think that's definitely about like the hindrances that I have, just keeping me from like being good to everyone or figuring out how to treat everyone correctly in my life that's treated me well. My buddy Jeff Coyne, he was at this show once that I was playing, and he was running the show, and I was like, oh, this song's for Jeff, and he wasn't even in the audience to hear that. He was running the show, but he helped me through a lot of things, and I think that song is like probably the most about like him and how he has helped me through so much. Jeff Coyne,
Hence, he filled that code for one coin in the vending machine.
Yeah.
That's a lyric in it.
Yeah. And that's sort of me. Like Jeff helped me through this. I was in a hard time. I was going through a hard breakup, and I was touring a lot and had a lot of issues on the road. Just interpersonally with the band I was in. Which like not necessarily like I love them all to this day, but it was just a hard time for all of us to go through together because there was addiction and things were coming into play. But Yeah, so we were just talking a lot, and I basically lived with him whenever I was off the road because I was homeless for, I guess not homeless, but without a place of my own for like 5 months at the end of 2014 because I was just on the road for like I think 4 of those months, so 3 or 4, yeah.
Was it?
So I lived with Jeff. That was with Gorilla Toss, and then also Ryan Powers, respectively. Just
because you played on Smack the Brick.
Yeah.
Put the Gorilla Toss records back. We can hear a little bit of Smack.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, that was a time that Jeff helped me a lot, and I think that lyric specifically, "Kill That Code," means I had a code of how I was living, how I was programmed, like how I had relationships with people, or what I thought relationships should be, or all these things, and we just talked through so many like different things together.
Yeah.
And he really helped me out just getting into a new spot, and so I sort of killed that code by using my buddy, my one and only Jeff Coyne, to put it in the vending machine and make myself, spin around.
Well, I'm glad he was there for you.
Yeah, spin around and give me a goddamn candy bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A new candy bar.
We certainly wouldn't have the song Albatross.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So.
And you were talking about leaving New Hampshire, and your previous record is called Leaving.
Yeah.
It was recorded from February until April 2015, so a little bit after that experience.
Yeah, so after that was the song Albatross, and the song Worlds was also written back there.
Okay.
Sure. But
around the same time as the Leaving songs?
They were a little bit later. Like, all the Leaving songs were done like in around February, March.
Yeah.
And then I think I wrote Worlds and Albatross like a couple days before I left, which was in May. So.
Okay, wow, yeah. And that was recorded onto a 4-track tape machine.
It was.
In a small
New Hampshire home.
Small New Hampshire home.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just before leaving, said small
New
Hampshire home.
I got there, I got there in late January of 2015. That was after all the touring that I did at the end of 2014, when I was basically living with Jeff. And I came home for Christmas, and I was around, and I'd always wanted to live in New Hampshire, or just like somewhere alone, like in the mountains, to like figure out my stuff and just also be in the mountains. I never had done that before, living so close to any.
So leaving society to some extent.
Yeah, society.
Albeit
And so then, I think the song "Morning" from that album,
which is the opening track.
Yeah. That was my first song I had written in like probably a year, and I wrote that on January 1st, 2015. I was actually in Minneapolis when I wrote that song.
On New Year's Day?
Yeah.
I can't talk because of the morning.
Yeah.
Because of New Year's morning.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you talk because of New Year's morning?
I think it's more about. I think that lyric is more about not being able to talk to like someone that you're like wake up with because they leave. Like, and you stay, because I usually, in my experience of dating, I usually wake up later than they do, because I don't have like a morning job thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's more about
because of the morning. So the person has to leave because of the morning.
Yeah, so you have something you need to talk about, and you can't because they went to bed before you.
Yeah, the morning is an albatross.
The morning is an albatross, exactly. It's a hindrance. Yeah, that album is about leaving the Pat that couldn't be alone really and always wanted to be socializing to people. That's why it's called Leaving.
I found a new place, or still in morning. I found a new place I can go where all that I know comes from the earth. So does that relates to going out into the mountains?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I could just go out my door there and like climb up a small mountain. So it's very very grounding experience out there. Brought me down to the earth and how to like made me realize how to be better to people and like appreciate where I'm from and appreciate like where I come, like the people that raised me, people like my parents and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean the record Albatross is dedicated to my mom.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Because it's in a lot of ways, in addition to being about, I mean my lyrics are about a lot of things here.
Yeah.
Because I they're subconscious. They come out of, they just flow out, like I said, and then I make sense of them or edit them around, and then when people, we analyze them like this, and it's hard for me to actually do it. It's also about just like going through a hard time. I mean, me and my mom we didn't get along for like very well for a very long time, probably like over a decade or so, and it was hard for us. And like, I love her a lot. I always loved her, and she's so supportive, and I think that's why she's almost too supportive. Just I don't know. I think from high school on, they were just butting heads.
And now is this quite a defining moment then?
Yeah, so I figured all that out. Yeah, I sort of figured all that out, and I think this record is about figuring it out.
Okay,
like,
so there are these.
Yeah.
Because that's a separate transition to the going in the mountains and thinking about how you allegedly fucked up days and lives of various people.
Right.
Because that's at the end of the song.
Exactly.
With the contrived excuses, was it? The contrived.
I'm trying to think. So it's
of people's days and people's lives, the reasoning was so contrived.
What about the record makes it a particularly fitting kind of gift to your mother?
I think just dedicating it to her in the sense of like, this is how I got through it, Mom. You know what I mean? Like, hey, all these songs, like, I think maybe in general, maybe I'm seeing this now, you sort of opened my eyes to something just now, is that I think like from Morning was the first song I wrote on guitar in like probably 7 years or something. I used to write songs on piano, and it was a different type of writing, used for a different band and all this stuff. But anyway, so I got into a new territory there, and I think from then on, just writing all these songs about like the given issues at hand that come in, like I was worried about my parents' health and trying to make them become healthier, which has happened a bit, and that's what the song Contest is about. But anyway, so all these, just I think general timeline of my songwriting has been, not only because I love songwriting and I appreciate songs so much, but I think just has been like figuring out, it's a constant way to deal with your problems and figure your problems out through songwriting, or at least for me it is.
Has that become more the case since shifting to guitar for some reason? You seem to be in place.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
So
just I think I think Pat Keen as a project, I mean, I was going to name it something else, but then I hate names, so I just named it my own name. So, but like the Pat Keen stuff, like the timeline, I think is just all about, it's sort of about what, like all these issues that I have, and I write songs and they help me realize what I should do.
Right.
And
find ways forward.
Yeah, it's almost like you write the song and then, okay, there's the issue, you see it, and then you get to move on.
You extend.
Go to the next one.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So
everyone should take up songwriting.
Yeah, everyone should do that. It's very therapeutic.
Are there other songs on Albatross that are dealing in specific ways with your mother or with other members of the family?
Yeah, I think Chappie Coat is
which is the single, which is out.
Well, the song Chappie Coat is about, I have ADD, ADHD. I was diagnosed with it when I was a kid. My parents medicated me for many years, and I still do take some medications for it, but that was during the summer when I was in Eau Claire, and I have gone through many crises with that. Just like, battles about like, oh, should I be medicated or not? Like, it's a cool, from like a human standpoint, like, oh, medication, like, ugh, or oh, it helps me, so I do it. You know what I mean? Like basically the battle between that. Yeah. And I saw this psychiatrist. I wrote that song after this psychiatrist appointment, actually, and I saw her, and she like was very vibey, sort of in a bad way. And like was telling me all these things that will happen to me if I continue to take the drugs that sometimes help me with being focused or motivated on things or whatever.
Okay.
So then I wrote this song, and it's also, there are some things like about that battle of medication or not, and then there's also parts about being from where I'm from, like leaving on the chappy coat means like a chappy coat that like I have to leave on because I come from where my parents like they gave me privilege, they supported me, they like I had a nice upbringing, like
So
very comfortable, relaxed.
So could you just elaborate a little bit on what a chappy coat is?
I think chappy means preppy to me,
Yeah.
at least in that sense. So like leaving on like a really preppy thing because I come from privilege. And I think it was just me seeing them, how they medicated me, thinking about now that I'm an adult or have been, since I was 18, thinking about what I want to do for myself, medicated or not.
Mm-hmm.
Also thinking about just coming from where I come from, and they gave me those drugs when I was a kid to help me out. And yeah, it's sort of a weird battle thing.
Interesting,
in that
yeah.
song.
And we can make certain choices, like whether to take medication or not. We can make choices about other things.
Yeah.
But it's almost as if we can't, one can't choose to not wear a chappy coat, the
Right.
metaphorical.
You wear a coat from where you're from, basically.
Mhm.
And you can't take that off.
Yeah, and dealing with, so you have
Yeah.
a sense of being privileged, and so you're grappling with what to do with that
Yeah.
sense and that,
Yeah.
and that guilt.
And like whether to take it off and like never talk to my parents again, or like because it's so hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like I wrote leave on the chappy coat because I want to figure it out. Like I wanted to get to a point where I can be.
You want to be Pat Keen.
I want to be Pat Keen and be like I want to be from them and like
Yeah.
love them for what they've done for me because they've done everything for me that I would be nothing. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think in that
They
way
make
it's about
you-
my mother
Yeah.
because it's like that's the main issue. I think at that point, and it was still hard at that point, so I wrote that song about it. But
Leave that talk on the road. Is
Yeah.
a recurring lyric.
I think that probably, like I said, I think is chappy coat. Leave on the chappy coat means leave it on, figure it out. Leave the talk on the road means leave the talk of like completely abandoning this whole
Yeah.
thing on the road. Like leave it.
Yeah. So
Just
again,
get it out
the
of here.
idea of all these different types of leaving. So
Yeah.
leaving
Yeah.
New Hampshire, leaving society for the mountains, leaving behind the constant need to be with someone else,
Yeah.
leaving a relationship, the possibility of leaving behind the chappy coat, and leaving the talk about leaving behind the chappy coat. But,
Yeah, many levels of leaving, many levels of personality.
Yeah. I think it's true, like what you were saying about the decision making and the songs being used for that. So what's the relationship between that kind of therapeutic aspect of the songwriting and the public, other people listening to these songs aspect?
Yeah. I don't know. I sort of do it. I studied with this guy when I was in New Hampshire. That's part of why I went there. His name is Chris Wiseman.
Oh, cool.
And if you haven't heard of any of his music, it's really good.
I
It's
feel like I
phenomenal
do
songwriter.
recognize his name.
Yeah. He was in the band Happy Birthday. They were on Sub
Oh.
Pop for
Yeah.
a second, but their record actually flopped, which is insane because it's a great record. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I took I guess guitar lessons and music theory lessons with him, and he taught me a lot about. He opened up my ear to songwriting more, and I was obsessed with his songwriting. That's why I called him, and I was like, "Hey man, like I know you teach people, and like, can I study with you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so
And you moved to study.
yeah, I moved back there. I mean, I had other things going on in the East too that I still felt like I had to be a part of. But so yeah, I went over there and we did that, and I got in there, and I was like, I have all these songs. Like, you want me to show you? And he's like, No, I don't want to hear any of them. And he's like, I don't want to hear your songs until we're done studying together. And then
Wow.
so what he did is he had all these exercises and games, musical games. I mean, he's a total wizard. He's phenomenal, this guy. He has made like his own techniques, his own theories on music and stuff.
Do you use some of these?
Some, yeah.
Can you reveal it? Any?
Yeah. Well, he's made to sort of explain how truly freaky he is. I think I could say he has this thing called an all-interval tetrachord,
Okay.
AIT,
Okay.
which he's found 16 of that encompass all intervals of music of the 12-tone scale inside a 4-note chord. And so then he tapes them down on the keyboard, and then you sing through all the intervals, like minor second, minor third, minor third.
Wow.
And so it's like, yeah, it's really nerdy and crazy, but
AITs.
But yeah, well, we would also do this thing where like he would pick a shape. He'd be like, pick a shape on the guitar, and I'll pick one too, a 3-note shape, and then we put them together, and then play over them, and solo over them, or sing over them, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then talk about how we were thinking about what we were playing, like what scales and stuff, and then go into scale work and limit yourselves, take notes out of the scale that you can't use when you're playing. Like it's basically improvising, but through game and through like these weird sort of
Through play, yeah.
Through play. And so some of the songs came from different things that we would work on, or just, I think his goal was to open me up. That's why he said he didn't want to hear any of my songs, because he just wants to open me up to writing more songs and having all these insane things that you're hearing over these things that don't necessarily make sense together, but you can make sense of them.
Did you ever play him any of the old songs?
Yeah, I played, he has both records now. I think I sent it to him, yeah.
So Leaving was pre-working with him?
Well, it was pre and during.
Okay.
And so, yeah. So
some of Leaving, are you using any of those chords? Do you use any of those chords?
I think I do. Yeah, I'd have to figure out which ones, but I definitely remember that the song "What We Like and Who We Are" came from an exercise that we were doing.
Okay. What was the nature of that exercise? Is that another song?
I think it stemmed from the 3-note shape game thing, and then we got into scales that we were using over it, and then made some chords somehow out of those scales.
Okay.
And so I was just messing around with it when I was sitting on my couch, and then I wrote this song. But anyway, so he sort of told me, like, I was getting into what music is to me at that point, too, just like in that period of being alone and sort of analyzing everything in my life.
Up the mountains.
And it was cool because I went to music school in Boston, and I think when I was there, a lot of things, I started to hate a lot of things. Like I went to school for jazz, but then once I was there, I fucking hated jazz. And I would want to play weird rock music instead of jazz and all this stuff. Or I only liked this specific outlet of music. And then, after graduating and going on a bunch of tours and then going out there, like I was all of a sudden like fascinated with just the very basic parts of music, like the major scale. I was like, oh my god, the major scale is amazing. Like Chris helped me basically get back into
the fundamentals
of music and just like appreciating all music for what it is, or like I hated Beethoven or Mozart or something, one of those guys. When I was in school, because I had to sing solfege, which is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, whatever, all that bullshit.
Yep.
And but yeah, so he got me back into just appreciating music for its beauty and what comes out. Every part of it's so awesome. And so I think we had so many talks about that where it was like, man, like I don't know what I want to do with music. Like I just want to. And he's like, it sounds like you probably just want to make it, and that's it. And I was like, you know what? You're right.
So a very helpful simplicity.
Yeah, and so I think like to answer your question about like, how other people can absorb my lyrics or whatever, I just do it, and then that's up to them, I guess,
Right, absolutely.
And they can mean different things to different people, and I just hope that I hope that it's helpful, or at least enjoyable to listen to for people.
Initially you said helpful. Were you imagining like something analogous to the process that you go through, like the existential process might be contagious?
Maybe. I'd love to think that people could get help. I love helping people anyway, because they help me so much, but I would hope so, I think when I listen to music too, I'm not a lyrics guy so much. I mean, I know you are, you're a linguist basically. But I get like, I don't know, feeling or pleasure or just any feeling, emotion from how harmony works.
Yeah.
And then melodies too, I think that's such a pure form of emotion in itself for me that a lot of the times the music are secondary, or the lyrics are secondary to me.
Yeah.
But
Thinking of connection to other people and melody and harmony,
yeah.
there's a really beautiful moment in the final track, Saw Sun, where the lyrics are all complete, rearranged, love again, not deranged.
Yeah.
And then for love again, this female voice comes in and harmonizes.
That's my friend Hannah Hegel.
It's a good name.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
We've been friends for a long time too. And she's making her own record right now. It's gonna be great. But
awesome. So yeah, what's happening at that struck me as a particularly affective moment. Affecting and effective. So, what's happening? Is there a significance to like her harmony coming in on Love Again?
Yeah. I mean, I just heard it and she was there and I was like, I think you should do this. And she was like, okay. And,
so she was just singing along to the song?
Yeah, we were just hanging out. I was showing her my new vocal takes and then she was there and Leo was there too and I think he was asleep on the couch at that point, so it was like really late. And I was still going. And when I get in the studio like that, I just can't stop. It's like, I don't want to stop ever. I can go for days, but
yeah.
And so I was like, if you did that, but I think that lyric in particular, originally it was about the relationship I was in and having love again, and it just feels refreshing to have it in a non-deranged way because I think the love that I had before that love with that person, that maybe that lyric is about, but also I think it becomes about more generally, but it made it make sense.
Because the leaving related to a relationship as well.
Yeah.
So after so leaving a relationship and then his love again, but it's not like the one.
Yeah, it's just better. It's better than before. It's like I've grown and I can be in love with someone and have it not be super deranged.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
and that's more or less the note on which the record ends, which would seem to be a positive note.
Yeah.
But then the very closing lyrics are leaving again.
Yeah,
leaving is believing when you
need to be
jadedly what you want to be finally sticking out like a sore thumb, which is the name of the song.
Yeah.
So and that would initially seem, it's still sounding harmonious, it's still sounding
it's happy.
In a happy place.
Yeah, it's a happy place.
Are the lyrics, because to stick out like a sore thumb is presumably not a good thing.
Right, yeah.
And so what's happening there? There's a new take on leaving, and how does it relate to the metaphor of the sore thumb?
Yeah, it's another, there are all these little pockets of what things mean in there, and some of them don't mean anything, and then I have to try to make it up or whatever. But I was in that relationship that was, love again, not deranged. It was a good thing, and it ended well too. It's over now, but it was about that person was going to be somewhere else for a period of time, and so when I say, so we stayed through the move, hang out to the roof means that we're gonna stay together even though that person is leaving to go and be somewhere else for a period of time.
Right.
And then hang out to the roof means the roof is metaphorical for what we built, and just loving each other, being successful in loving each other, I guess.
Yeah.
And then saying that leaving is believing, I think in itself means that hey, if you just believe you can do this, then you can. And then it says leaving is believing when you need to be jadedly what you want to be finally, I think means that there are going to be times of being skeptical or being jaded about being in a long distance thing. But what you want to be I guess,
Okay.
successful.
Yeah.
You know,
So, and in this
want
case,
it to work.
successful in your relationships.
Yeah.
With others.
And then, but, I mean, all this can be looked at from a broader spectrum and say that, like, it could be about my relationships in
general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think sticking out like a sore thumb is just an afterthought there. Saying that, like, right now I'm sort of sticking out, like, because this is happening, she's gonna go, we're gonna be apart, and like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna stick out, like, I'm in Minneapolis, I just moved here, kind of.
So
like,
because so you've left, you've arrived.
I've arrived, I have a new place, kind of a new life almost.
Yeah.
And also about, like, still having issues with the family, and just kind of, it's like, okay, you're sticking out, here you are, you're like thrown into this new thing, and how are you gonna do it? And so
from sticking out like a sore thumb allegedly in Minneapolis to sticking around in Minneapolis.
yeah, sticking around, it's great.
You have to, yeah. You're not about to leave here, right?
Yeah, no. I don't think I could. I mean, I think about doing another retreat of some kind.
Yeah.
Because it's always helpful to do that.
Yeah, it seems like there's, it's like a catalyst or like a process to go through to.
Yeah,
have the
but
next-
this is my home, man. I mean, it's
Me too.
yeah, it's amazing. Like, the people, I mean, you and everyone. Yeah, there's so many beautiful artists and musicians here. So
Yeah,
the culture
it's
here is
such a great
so
community,
appreciated, so.
isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we each stick out in our different
We
ways.
each stick out, like, we're all our own little sore thumbs.
And there's the worst things to be than a sore thumb, I think. So it's always struck me as an interesting metaphor. Like,
Yeah.
okay, a sore thumb. Well,
It's sore.
if my thumb was sore, like, I could have my thumb in my pocket or
Right.
something.
Or sorry that it's sore. Like, how did that happen? You're probably
Yeah.
sorry,
Exactly,
man. That
yeah.
sucks.
And it's not like,
Yeah.
there could be worse injuries to have than
Yeah,
a
yeah.
sore thumb.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, we're happily sore thumbs.
Yeah.
So when we first were talking about the albatross, you referred to guilt,
Right.
which is not something in the record company's 3 definitions of the albatross,
Yeah.
but is central to the
Yeah.
story. As someone with a background in literature,
Yeah.
the rhyme of the ancient mariner. Are you thinking of Coleridge? Is there a Coleridge influence on albatross?
I don't think so. I mean, it's yeah, the feeling of guilt is, I mean, sort of what I've touched on about, like, feeling guilty about family issues, or how I treat my friends, or how I treat people sometimes that I don't like and want to fix.
The image of having like an albatross around your shoulders. Have you come across that? So, thanks to Coleridge, like the idea of being weighed down by an albatross.
Yeah.
It's because this character in the poem kills an albatross.
Oh,
and
interesting.
and
I don't know about this poem at all.
It's called the Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner.
Cool.
And the Ancient Mariner is on. He's doing what mariners do. He's on a ship.
Right.
And there's this albatross. And albatrosses conventionally are meant to be for good luck. But a lot of the negative connotations of albatrosses go back to this poem. Is the individual, the mariner, kills the albatross, and then things go terribly wrong for everyone on the ship. Initially, they seem to get out of the fog, and they say, "'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay, that bring the fog and mist." They think that it's a good thing to have got rid of this albatross, because things temporarily get better. Then when things get worse, they blame him for killing the albatross, and then they actually all, apart from him, die. Things talk about going from the frying pan to the fire.
Right.
They run into a ship, and on the ship is Death, like a skeleton, Death.
Yeah.
And Nightmare, Life in Death, who are playing dice for the souls or the lives of these characters.
Right.
Death gets them all apart from the mariner, and Life in Death gets the mariner, and then the mariner has to live this life and death, going around repeating this story to everyone as punishment and as redemption. And it struck me as, so it's interesting that you didn't know about the poem.
Yeah, that's
and
very
yet
interesting.
the idea of
It sort of fits, doesn't it?
yeah, and in the meantime, before that happens, the sailors, before they all die, they make this mariner wear the albatross that he's killed around his shoulders as both a punishment and so that's where a lot of these ideas come from, like the anxiety and the albatross being like an obstacle.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm really glad you told me about this. My goodness.
Yeah, and the reason why I kind of why I'm bringing up the poem as well is because of what Coleridge was trying to do with it. Obviously, there's lots of supernatural components there, with death and life and death playing dice for the lives of these people. And so Coleridge, reflecting on what he was doing with this albatross poem, he and Wordsworth were writing lyrical ballads, and it was Coleridge's role to write one batch of these. There were 2 batches of poems. His were all going to be supernatural. But this is a quotation from him. The excellent aimed at was to consist in the interesting of the affections, like the emotions, by the dramatic truth of such emotions, as would naturally accompany such supernatural situations, supposing them real. So it's obviously a supernatural story. This thing where, you if you literally kill an albatross, it's probably not going to lead to the death of all your crewmates. And you being cursed by life and death. But Coleridge's challenge was to tell this narrative in a way where the dramatic truth of these emotions was brought home to those reading or listening to the poem. And he was saying that these emotions are real to anyone who is, for whatever reason, experiencing some kind of delusion. So all of that, Coleridge talking about the reasoning behind this narrative, I was thinking about that alongside, what you're doing with the album that happens to also be called Albatross. Because the lyrics, they're not designed to be like easily related to. So that's something that seems kind of analogous to what Coleridge was doing in the poem. But you do hope to have this kind of impact on the listener, and it is more deep and emotional. Listen to the inside.
Right.
That was I've written that in red here because I thought, it's a song called Albatross that begins to listen to the inside, and it seems like that's similar to Coleridge.
Yeah. It seems like his story begins with that too, where, well, not necessarily, but he's supposed to listen to these people who are like, oh, you killed this bird, dude, like, what the hell? And he's like, and he's like, well, yeah, it was good for a second, but like, now it's not.
The basic premise seems to be sometimes our emotions, we have these real emotions, maybe anxieties.
Yeah.
And for the most part, if we stick to telling like conventional stories, then the reality and the commonality of these emotional experiences is not recognized.
Yeah.
So Coleridge's way of dealing with that is to tell this supernatural story. And maybe your way of dealing with that is to create songs that both sound like they do and that have these not conventional lyrics.
Yeah.
Do you feel it may? Yeah. You and Coleridge have some kind of.
I think so, man. I think I gotta get into this guy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I should get
he's,
deep on him, man.
Yeah. He's maybe into you. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm delusionally thinking that something supernatural is happening.
I think it's great.
It seems that you want to convey an emotional truth. So whether someone can relate to, what the lyric about the coin, which is like actually about your friend, it's highly unlikely that someone would get that without the aid of this interview. But that doesn't matter so much.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
And does it not matter so much because somehow the music is designed to interest the affections, like the emotions in particular? What kind of emotions would you want to elicit with the music?
I don't know. I think the way that I sing some of the song, like the way that I sing Albatross is very kind of croony or something, and light and pretty emotionally kind of breathy almost.
Yeah.
And as opposed, I mean, I also just love that way of singing. I mean, I think I mainly would say that I love it because of Arthur Russell, who's like my hero. I mean, I think it's everyone, a lot of people's heroes at this point. But
did you play at the
I
show?
didn't. I was on tour, and I wanted to do a song and have it played there, but I didn't have the time. I felt so bad. I feel like I totally let myself and Arthur down. But yeah, the spirit of Arthur, man. I mean, but so yeah, but that's the way that I think I generally try to sing. Like, he's my most influential singer, probably. But I think that's just certain ways that I sing the songs can convey the type of emotion that I'm trying to get across. And so I think there it's light, it's kind of eerie, breathy, and I think it's meant to feel that way. And I think the melody in itself is like emotional, on its own.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
So I think that's maybe more in situations like that is, I think I want people to really focus on the melody and just, how that makes them feel. And then if they hear the lyrics and however they hear them, even if they hear them wrong, maybe it means something to them. Or, I'm pretty open to what people, to how they want to feel.
There are a few moments where the lyrics are like less obtuse and more simple. And so I'm thinking, experience is killing me over and over. Over and over.
Oh, right. It's actually expense.
Expense, okay.
Yeah.
Expense is killing me. And earlier it's suspense is killing me over and over.
Yeah.
When it's expense, then the over and over gets repeated over and over.
Right.
And so that's the moment where expense is killing me over and over. So that's, there is definitely room for interpretation there. But the idea of something happening over and over, there's less room for interpretation.
Right.
And then it's interesting, as soon as we get to this lyrical moment where we all know what over and over means, then the song,
it just keeps saying,
dramatizes that.
Keeps saying, it just keeps fucking going. It's relentless.
Yeah, and so what's happening there, where suddenly there's this moment, perhaps an unusual moment, where the listener knows exactly the meaning of what's happening.
Yeah.
And then the song kind of dramatizes that.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting part. It's because that song is pretty repetitive in form up till that point. Yeah. And then the triplets come in, and then it decays down to this thing where I sing harmony, and it's a little softer and really I don't know, ethereal. Or, I don't know, mystic. Yeah. But I think. I mean, when I do say expense is killing me over and over, I wrote, like I said, the song Worlds, which is the one we're talking about, that was written in New Hampshire at the very end with Albatross. And so that is, I think that lyric itself, expense is killing me, means one of the reasons that I had to move back here is because I couldn't afford to live out there because it's too expensive to live in New Hampshire or in Boston or anywhere out there. It's so goddamn expensive. In the east, yeah. And so expense is killing me in that way, where I don't want to be asking my parents to help me financially, or I just want to be able to live on my own, so that we have a mutual respect. So that, they feel like I'm doing something with my life, which I am. But just out of respect for them, and and then saying over and over, it's just, I think, just killing that, just really beating that over the head, killing the albatross, killing it, killing the encumbrance, and just kind of just over and over, man. This has always been I've been thinking about that for a long time, just financial stability, how it's going to work out. As a musician, it's hard, and any type of art is hard to make a proper living and get be able to survive just doing what you love. And so I think that's sort of an ode to that in a way. It's over and over again. It's just fucking over and over. I can't it's a never ending struggle and battle to try to figure out how you're gonna survive.
And
You really just love making music, and that's it.
but then the answer, as you were told, is just make music.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it, man.
The
Yeah.
combination of the kind of nightmarish cycle there, and then the straightforward progress
Yeah.
is interesting. When we were talking about what we like and who we are,
Mhm.
which seems like an important phrase,
Yeah.
you were saying you were up late at night, I think. You made a reference to.
Oh, being up late with Hannah recording.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So that was
That's on
working
Sore
with Sore
Thumbs,
Thumbs, yeah.
Mhm.
But there's references to night and evening in what we like and who we are. So if there's morning in the opening track on the evening, Call Me in the Evening is how what we like and who we are opens, and then it's about taking me into healing. And tonight we'll forget about what we like and who we are. It's
Yeah.
interesting how the song itself ends on that note, which seems to be kind of at odds with the title. The title seems to suggest it's a discovery.
Yeah, it's a discovery. No, it's about our interests, the interest between two people being in common,
Yeah.
and who those people are, like also factoring into being in common and how you get along, I think. And that's what that song is about. It's about like having different interests than someone, but still being able to be who you are around them and loving
Interesting.
them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Another instance of like working on the self and working on the self in relation to
Yeah,
others.
and it's sort of, for me, that song opened my eyes to be like, okay, I don't really care about the interests of someone else if they're not the exact same as mine. Like, that's fine. Like, if you don't, if they don't like, I don't know, pistachio cake, and I do,
Yeah.
then it's fine, and like, I can, if I'm comfortable and I can be around you, be myself,
Yeah.
then it's fine. It can work out. It doesn't matter.
So we can forget about the aspects
about
of
it.
who we are and what we like that are the albatross, the impediments to that friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. It's like we can forget about that stuff and just be,
Yeah. Yeah. Something similar, I think, is happening in Everything I Know, where again the title seems to be to suggest.
That's a weird one. That song is weird. It's the lyrics of that are crazy at some points.
What's it that? Breaking all I have to hide and everything I know at the end. So again,
Yeah.
where it might announce the acquisition of knowledge is actually about the destruction.
Yeah.
The loss of knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe I should retitle some of my songs.
Everything I forgot.
Everything I don't know.
Everything I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have I don't know already.
I don't know. Yeah. See, that's the yeah. There's so much I know. I don't know.
IDK.
IDK. Yeah. But yeah, that's yeah.
So what's going on with Everything I Know? But I think that's really interesting sonically too. Is that
That's a weird
tempo
one.
shifts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's two.
Yeah.
Well, from one, and then we change, or I change.
Yeah.
I
The
think
various
about playing
hats
it as
that are playing.
Yeah. We. That's a really funny concept. Talking about myself as we on the various instruments of the instrument. So yeah, it changes and then it comes back to the original tempo.
So what's so it's called Everything I Know. I've highlighted with my bit of focusing on the lyrics that
Right.
there's the final focus on the destruction of what you know.
Yes.
We've established that there are these shifts in tempo, and
Yes.
that the lyrics in general are. You said
They're
deranged.
Yeah, they're a little messed up. I think I did a lot of. I should have mentioned this earlier, probably, but I did a lot of sound poetry
Oh, cool.
in college. Actually, I had this amazing poetry teacher. Her name was Ruth Lepson.
Cool.
And she's just well, she's the best. She's like one of the coolest people I know. And
good teaching, Ruth.
yeah,
Sounds
she's
like she did a good job.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so, yeah, we did a lot of this sound stuff, and she was the first person who was like actually like appreciative of like the type of free writing I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go out and just write. Sometimes those turn into lyrics, or they're just in my book.
So,
writing.
so what is sound poetry for anyone who doesn't know?
So I think it's, for me, I think that sound poetry can be like actually making weird sounds and having them, you know, become rhythmic. But for me, it's more about how sounds that I want turn into words and then become rhythmic in phrasing. And so a lot of, I think everything I know, like that song is a pretty large portrayal of like that style of writing, even though most of my writing is done that way, but it's, some of it is more refined where it ends up being more, but with that one it's like pretty wacky and like, you know, it's
That's interesting because
all logic out the window maybe.
But then at the same time, it's the song with some of the, perhaps as a result of that, bolder statements, like liking things is just the shield for hating all the things you think you like.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
like that itself, that phrase sounds like it's very rhythmic, it's hard to say, it's cool, it's weird, but it's also, it means something. And it can, there are certain pockets, like I said, but I think in the end it comes back. And like breaking all I have to hide and everything I know means like it, you know, it kind of comes back to the general meaning of the record. But and there's a thing in there. It used to be praying for things is just a mask for bullshit hat, which I just like the word hat there. I had no idea, you know, like a bullshit hat or something, like a stupid hat. But then I changed it in the studio with Leo. Like I was like, do you think that saying Pat there would make more sense than my name? Like saying my name Pat.
Bullshit Pat.
Bullshit Pat. Like praying for things is just a mask for bullshit Pat. Like bullshit Pat would pray for things. Like praying is bullshit.
Right.
Or whatever. and then
that's one of the many. That's the vocalist Pat. Singing over all of the other Pats, referring to bullshit Pat, who doesn't get to play anything.
Yeah, and then it says, just a mask for bullshit Pat. I don't even remember, but it says praise you've made up for loving you.
Praise you've made up for loving. And by this point, it's in the slow.
Yeah, it's drudgy. Yeah.
So, what is the emotional truth behind that transition to the slow, drudgy? Especially,
it's sort of. It reminds me of like maybe like a weird dream that I've had, or just an image in my head of like Catholic priests in Italy. In like the basement of a church, and they're all like doing some weird ass like ritual or something. And it's like
so it's drudging and slow.
It just gets in there, and I say praise, and it's like you think about religion I think about religion there, and I'm not religious really. I mean, I didn't mean to say that praying for things is bullshit, but I think maybe if I pray for something, it's probably bullshit because I'm not that religious. You know? But you know, other people can pray for things, and that's fine. But I think it makes me think of that, and I think my parents tried to they tried to make me go to church when I was a kid, and I totally would resent them and didn't do it, and I put up enough of a fight that they didn't make me go anymore. They didn't make me get confirmed. They didn't make me do any of that. The change there is just, I mean, it's because I felt it through the music. I was like, this is what should happen. It's like just weird, and this song is so like out there that it comes to this head here, and you're like, oh, okay, something's gotta. And you go into this drudgy, like weird, like priests or something doing this in a dungeon with bars, or I don't know.
There's the can't steal, and then shortly after that, I can't breathe now.
I can't breathe now.
Which relates to the albatross anxiety.
So,
And I think that the shifting of tempos, that's a sonic feature which might be anxiety-inducing, or one might lose one's bearings.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's coincidental that we have the can't deal, can't breathe.
No.
In those positions.
Yeah.
Do you think that's significant?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, yeah, for loving. Oh no, it's sorry. I messed up the lyric before. It's praise you've made for loving me
And all the stupid
and all
shit
the
I
stupid shit I say that you deal with every day, which is about
bullshit Pat.
Yeah. Which is about the people that have to deal with bullshit Pat, which I'm sorry to all of you. But yeah, that's what that's about. It's feeling bad, acknowledging that I know that sometimes I'm full of shit and I act like a total idiot.
Presumably, do you think we're all full of shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's just that there are times when you are. And,
there are times when
and
you
sorry
are.
about that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then there are precisely, yeah.
Yeah.
We all have encumbrances to overcome. We all will feel concern or anxiety.
Right.
And for all of us, there are times when the way in which we interact with someone else could have been better.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is a record that seems to kind of speak to a lot of those moments.
And I think a lot of the time, I forget that other people have those things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as my own dude, it's like...
You're so conscious of bullshit Pat.
Yeah.
You're not aware of bullshit Simon.
Yeah, I never see these things in other people, even though they totally exist, but I never think they exist as much as they do in me. Or, I'm always just like... I don't know, I always forget about that. Yeah, it's good to
Do you think
say.
it's and also people might not be aware of them existing in you because you're saying like it's only really in the music that those layers
they come out to the people that I'm really close to.
Yeah.
And I'll tell them about emotions and how I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
whatever. But I mean, most of the time, my philosophy I think in life is just to like have a good time and just like get to the especially when you're with other people, just have a good time and get to the fun part and do that, and whatever happens in there is cool, and if it gets serious and you talk about something deep, then that's great, but just all of it lightheartedly and having a good time. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's the way to have happiness, through maybe eternally, just always having people you can have a good time around, surrounding yourself with good company.
And you have a good when you're performing with the band or when you're performing with the Pats in the studio.
The Pats, yeah.
Then you're having a good time too.
Yeah,
but
that's been really cool too, is to play this music live. I used to play just acoustic a lot, or I'd have singers, one female singer which is joining me. But so the band is really cool. It's me, Addie Stride, Leo's sister.
Oh.
Leo he mixed and engineered the record, and he plays bass in the band, and his sister Addie plays guitar and sings in the band. She also sang a little bit on the record too.
Mm-hmm.
And then
where does she sing?
She sings on When I Say Over in the End of Worlds. That's her.
Yeah.
She also sings in Indigo. She doubles me when I say feeling like all these certain things, applying them to how you explain everything.
Yeah. Let's focus on Indigo because that is people will know that being the single.
That was the first single that came out. Yeah.
And that has Addie.
Yeah, has Addie on it.
Yeah. On feeling like all these certain things, applying them to how we explain everything.
Yeah.
I'm determined to explain everything. Or to this.
Right.
But it's an interesting. But the record is determined to resist explanation.
Yeah.
And not only that, but to ruminate on the effort of the bullshit Simons to explain everything.
Man, this is deep. I like it.
Because we have this search for certainty. That we want certainty. and we applied that to when that's an application, I suppose.
Yeah.
When we're trying to put everything in the light of day. And again, I'm thinking of like Coleridge again, and like why he was turning to those like unusual, like in his case, supernatural narrative.
Yeah.
So as to break away from so you know the phrase suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in theatre, that comes from Coleridge when he was
Okay.
explaining what he was trying to do in that poem.
Yeah.
And so to suspend disbelief, to be, okay, I'll run with this against my kind of, my sense of normality, my sense of like knowing everything for certain.
Yeah.
And of course we don't know everything for certain, and we're not able to explain everything.
Yeah.
So it seems like in this lyric, you're addressing someone who is too sure of themselves and like breaking them out of it.
Yeah.
And then not only in the lyric, but throughout the record, you're doing that too.
Yeah.
And maybe because existentially, it's just that moment of like being able to recalibrate, to break the code,
Yeah.
to kill the code.
To kill the code.
Experiencing something that you can't understand or that you don't know
Yeah.
is maybe what's needed to have that progress.
To continue to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if the record is about your growth or a record of your growth, it's interesting that like sonically and with these like sound poetry as kind of lyrics, maybe that's the way in which it might kind of break someone out of a code, as opposed to like sharing the morals of the stories.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm learning something from you
About
about myself.
About yourself.
Yeah.
About what you're doing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Coleridge is doing that in the poem too, because there's lots of repetition of certain lines.
Yeah.
And again, it's about the impact on the listener or the reader.
I was thinking about, it's interesting how, I think we've talked about a couple lyrics here where I say everything, like the word
The
everything.
word everything. Yeah.
I think it shows up a lot. And I think
It
that's why I was actually going to call the record Everything,
Ah, okay.
to keep with like the leaving
Everything.
But then it was like
But
someone was like, that's
line.
cheesy, don't do it,
Right.
don't do it. I was like, you're right, it should be called Albatross, it's cooler, but
Albatross is cool.
yeah.
Where would all of our talk of Coleridge have come from if it was cool?
Would have been.
The vending machine.
I really do like what you just said about all that. Maybe, yeah. This is sort of making me realize that it does mean more than I think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so there's a meaning. It's not madness, but there's a method to the madness.
Yeah.
There's a method to the deranged.
Yeah. That's really great.
It's not deranged.
It's not deranged.
Love again, not deranged. It's coming from the subconscious, but you're tapping into something. And you were saying before with these lyrics, they do express something about what you were going through and your state of mind, of course. Like inevitably. Like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you can't break away from that.
No,
Yeah.
you couldn't even. And I think that if I would have tried to make it, completely sound poetry, like complete, full on, meaningless, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
It wouldn't.
because you have the mental states and you have the emotions, and
Yeah, it would come off as dishonest. It wouldn't be right.